What's shaking, y'all? Your
How
boy,
y'all
Mr.
doing today?
T-Noble. Fucking thing for you on a same day release because not gonna lie, it's just been a rough ass couple of weeks. Like we'll get back on schedule and everything on track eventually, but there's a lot going on. We're gonna be getting back. Like we're gonna start focusing on what FANSPIRACY was supposed to be doing from the get go. We got spun out a little. Like we were doing what we were doing, but like, and it was the same thing, but we were supposed to be doing more, and that's on me. Like that's not even like that's on no one but me. But we're gonna get back to that, like the roots of what FANSPIRACY was supposed to be. Like I've been working on this pet project for many years with the aid of T. Skizzo's had some creative contributions, and even B. Ride. But the whole point of FANSPIRACY is to take fandoms and use them to discuss and address real world issues. Like there's a lot of media, from video games to anime to TV shows and movies, that tackle some very serious issues in our world. And because they're fictional, it allows us to talk them in a way and remove ourselves from it. So sometimes we don't get as impassioned and combative about views. We're able to discuss them with a bit more of an open mind because it is fiction. And then, like, with that, we can start transitioning to the real world with people, you know?
Yeah, speaking of that, I think the several, if not most, if not all of the various Gundam series actually touch base on along that. Indeed.
But, like, for Gundam, I mean, I want, like, there's never really, like, no streaming service really has all of Gundam.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so I think for that, what we want to do is potentially buy Gundam, like, start buying, like, each series.
Crunchyroll doesn't have it?
Not all of it. Like, and the thing about Crunchyroll's a bit lazy to me. Like, sometimes, like, there's English versions of shit out there, and, like, they're like, nah, bro, we don't give a fuck if you want to hear it in English. And I think that's disrespectful, you little shites. Remember where the fuck you came from. You were a pirate side before you came up to be what you are. That's going to be a discussion for another time, though, because that's pretty interesting how it transitioned from being technically considered a pirate streaming site to ultimately the largest source of anime legally.
I didn't know that.
I actually learned that from an article in passing it was how they went from pretty much calling them a illegal streaming site to being exactly what they are now. I'm like, damn, I don't know much about this, but I want to look into that. So Let's be real. I got that from an article in passing. I can't really recall it. So Crunchyroll, if you hear this and this isn't entirely true, or there's a deeper thing that needs to be discussed, we can discuss that later. Like, I'm just saying, like, it's something I want to look into. I heard about it. It's something I want to look into. And if it's true, like, that's cool. Like, I have nothing against that. That's actually pretty dope. Like, you started in the streets and now you here.
Yeah.
Like that's fucking impressive. I don't care. Like, I don't care that you started off on the shady side. Bravo. That being said, Crunchyroll kind of took me for a loop there. We're gonna start focusing our content around various topics and using various mediums to go about. And part of willful compliance to me is ignorance and expecting all problems to be solved by some mystical force.
Right.
A bit paranoid about another 4 years of Trump. Like that.
And you're frozen.
Makes me nervous to tell. Like, dude.
I can hear you again.
Yeah, I sat here and I was like, man, this shit went and lost. But as we all know, I have that paranoia of a second Trump term. And I'm not sure if you remember, like, back in high school, me and some of the guys went and watched Final Destination, and we saw the trailer for Vendetta. And everybody was like, dude, that's some shit that you would do. Like, fighting the government with nothing but knives. I'm like, like a challenge. But guys, this was like high school me, mind you. So like I'm 36 years old, and like yeah, technically V was way older than that, but that's not the point. Mr. Jin ain't gonna be doing no crazy shit like that. Mm-mm.
Maybe 20 years
But
ago.
20 years ago was a different story. But also 20 years ago, I think people had more common sense, and like we would have never allowed, like the Republicans would have laughed when Donald Trump said, "Hey, I wanted to run for president 20 years ago." Let's be real about that. They're
Well,
like,
if you think about it, speaking of Trump, there was a video from back whenever I can't remember exactly how old he was, maybe 20s or 30s. I don't know when he was at the his prime of business or whatever, but he was pretty young, and he was talking on I don't know, he was an interview of some kind, and he was basically saying that in the future he could run for president, spout all kinds of nonsense, and still get elected. And in a way, he did do that.
but the problem is, we should fucking knew better. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I get that people might not like certain things, but the man talks like a fascist. Like, some of his rhetoric, I'm not going to call him a Nazi because ideologically, I don't think he gives a fuck about that. He's classist, not necessarily someone who has an ethnic or racial prejudice. He hates poor people. Like, it shows because he talks about shit that poor people think they know about, but they don't fully understand. And a lot of people, like, the word tariffs comes to mind. Like, everybody thinks, oh, it's a tax on Chinese imports, and they automatically assume that means the Chinese are going to pay it. No, it's who's importing. And
Well, the only way I could see that as being useful, explained that way, is it would stop the buying of Chinese made products. But even then, there's so much stuff out there made by China. It could be a problem. However, I will go ahead and say a lot of the stuff I see that's from China is very poor quality. Like Mexico makes better stuff.
oh no, 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 no. But you're looking at already made goods. I'm talking about even raw materials, like certain precious minerals that they have tons of that we don't really have. It comes down to that. Like, and then a lot of the base parts for electronics come, like, so a lot of shit will get more expensive. Is ultimately the end result of that because the companies importing this shit have to make their money back on the tariff that they pay for that shit. Like, this kind of shit's good for increasing personal manufacturing and shit like that when we have all the things to do that. We don't necessarily always have all the resources we need to bring an idea to fruition. That's why we have trade allies that we do business with. And as fucked up as China is, we've always done business with them. There's a reason for that. We need them. It's not that we fucking want to do business with them. It's most shit comes from fucking China. But that again is a discussion for another time. Today we'll be going into we're gonna. I know y'all might think this is beating a dead horse. We're gonna talk more about some Sparking Zero. Then, well, we're also gonna talk about some V for Vendetta. Yeah, I could have sworn I said the ass whooping we took in Diablo, and you know what? The night is young. We'll see what the fuck else we come up with. As like, there's always a segue or two that we can't expect on this turn. But you know what? The other shit's saucy. Let's start with the V for Vendetta, one of my favorite movies of all time. I mean,
Was a great movie.
like as an anarchist, it just made my heart sing. Like I
It
was
was
like,
it was definitely a good mindfuck.
it was, especially like there's a lot of things that like if you pay attention to minor details like in the news reporting going on during certain conversations, you know that they had a pandemic about 20 years prior to that. And somewhere along the lines, America fell as a world power. So in the case of life imitating art is always a scary possibility. And honestly, the thing, and like, honestly, this isn't even just a Trump. This is something that I've been thinking about pretty much since this movie came out. We have been blindly giving away freedoms and rights for security and comfort, peace of mind. And all the way, we're pretty much just boxing ourselves into like our own little prison. And the thing that I bring this up is, do you remember when V takes over the TV station for his broadcast? And he pretty much sits here and tells everybody, yeah, we're running a fascist society. This chancellor's a douche. The parliament's a joke. And like, it's nobody's fault for our own. Like, if you need to look for somebody to blame, look in the fucking mirror. Like, y'all blindly chose leaders based on what they told you rather than what they've done in the past and how they behave. And that rang true even then when the movie first came out. And I feel it progressively kept on getting truer. Like, people, how many times do people actually read the privacy and security terms for any app they download, any website they go to?
Almost not very many people, I would assume.
In the world, I would say less than 1% of the people. You know who I think reads them? The lawyers that draft them, and that's about it. Like, hey, here's how we're invading your privacy.
And a lot of the problem, I think, is that the terms and conditions and whatever else, the language they use is not always clear cut. Like you have to guess if you don't already understand what they're talking about. So in some cases, and I think that needs to be improved because too many people just blindly agree to stuff and not fully understand, or like the tariffs, they hear something, oh, that's a great idea, without fully understanding what it does.
Exactly. Like, we both agree that our education system needs improving, but here's my problem with just that statement alone. A lot of people have been outside of school for years, decades, whatever. School barely covers that in a way to actually make people understand it. And like I said, like, I took college level economics, and like, the economy's still fucking confusing me. There's a lot of variables about saying, oh, the economy's good, and the economy's bad.
Right.
There's a lot of things that go into what makes it good, and like, there's different metrics of what we're measuring. But no matter how you look at it, there's a lot of issues that can be improved upon. And hoping our fearless leader and his cronies don't fuck this shit up. Like, because like, the odds of us getting another pandemic to blame everything on for anything that he may or may not fuck up are very slim. And we already know the man can't handle a pandemic.
Well, also, I mean, it seems like they've been saying like every few months since the pandemic, oh, there's another strain of COVID. A few months later, oh, there's another strain of COVID. A few months later, oh, there's another strain of COVID.
You know what that
Like,
sounds like to me? The flu.
honestly, COVID has been around for a lot longer than what we were, a lot of people, I honestly never even,
Well,
because on the cleaning chemicals, a lot of them will say what they'll kill. A lot of us don't even read that, I
yeah,
never even considered, COVID was even a thing until I heard about it.
but that
That's
just goes into the thing of us, like, not even just blindly, like, we just blindly use products assuming that they're good for us.
right. And also, like with the pandemic, the COVID, like before that, what was it, the bird flu or the swine flu? Either way, both of them are essentially a flu, but for animals that could cross contaminate. That's essentially
And
what a lot
don't
of this
forget
is.
SARS.
Well, SARS is more dangerous, I think. It
Yeah,
didn't
but no, no, no. The
was
point
it
is, like,
China? Was it China or Korea or what
China, I
Asian
believe.
country? China that suffered for under SARS for like a long time. I don't remember exactly how long, but
Yeah, but let's also keep in mind that certain areas of China are really fucking compact and rates.
Well, wasn't SARS didn't that attack your lungs?
Yeah,
Wasn't that a respiratory thing?
yeah. So are the flu and COVID.
Yeah.
Like they were like all of the global pandemics or potential pandemics in the past 20, 30 years have all been fucking respiratory diseases of some sort. Oh, speaking of which, did you see the news about, I think it was North or South, like it was Carolina, I think it was, one of the two. Like 41 or 42 monkeys got loose from a research facility.
No, I haven't heard about that, but you know what that reminds me of?
Planet of the fucking Apes?
28 days later. Because
True.
that all started from a genetic virus that was modified and injected into apes or
See,
monkeys.
like my thought was like, because somebody was like, "Isn't this how COVID got started?" I'm like, in a way, yes, we believe it came from like it did come from a lab in this place. I don't think it was monkey specific, but we do know that it came from a lab. I believe is the accepted theory.
Yeah, I believe so. Is that
How,
somebody concocted it?
however, this is the very plot to how Planet of the Apes started. A group of monkeys got out of the facility and all hell broke loose.
Honestly, people, we need to stop fucking with viruses and bacteria. Just stop it. In most
Well,
cases, that's how the fucking zombie apocalypse started.
the
I mean, a
monkey
lot of us would love
apocalypse.
zombies, but nobody wants a zombie that can fucking run at you. I
Well,
don't care
like,
who you are and be like, oh, it's more challenging. Yeah, yeah. Until you can't outrun the bastard. Then what are you gonna do?
fuck that. Like, even one that can't run, most of these bastards can't outrun.
Yeah. That's pretty bad. Can't even outrun a shuffling zombie.
They'll be like, "You're in my safe space." Zombie don't give a fuck about safe space. They're
I
gonna
mean
use words to hurt you. They're gonna use their teeth and claws.
they might get lucky and it could be the zombies that are after brains and, some people just don't have enough brains to register.
True, but I digress. I digress. Back to the V for Vendetta. Um, it's a complete totalitarian state, like kind of what I imagine Hitler wanted to do had he succeeded. It kind of had
Well, it
that
was
kind of regime.
wasn't it totalitarian with corporate control?
No, no, no. It was totalitarian, but it was all in the chancellor, and he controlled the corporations, like everything for the state. The reason I want to talk about there is because uh, if you didn't notice, there's a lot of propaganda. Like they have their propaganda people, this and that, and then you had your comics in there. I believe theirs was played by Stephen Fry. I believe. Weird, like awesome British dude. I love him and just about everything that I've seen him.
I don't think so.
Okay, then I can't walk you through that.
There's a
Uh,
lot of stuff that I didn't get to watch growing up.
oh, Bones was like we were already like out of school. Like
Yeah,
Bones is a
I just didn't have access to cable or stuff like that at the time.
no, no, no. I get that, but we have streaming service.
Yeah, there's just too much shit to watch. Like not enough hours in the day.
But okay, you remember how he does the whole skit about the Chancellor, and then he gets himself black bag.
Yeah.
You know who our comic guy is, right? It's Bill Maher, and like at that point, I just want to say, everybody, Bill Maher needs to be protected. He's a national treasure. Like I don't care which side you're on. He talks shit about both. He sees stupid shit. He says, I appreciate it. And I, I appreciate his commitment to still keep talking shit about Trump. And I watched his show this past week, and it made me feel better about it. Like, yeah, we're still gonna like the bad. Like, there's no use being bent out of shape until bad happens. You know.
So right, like with all the celebrities and famous people, oh, I'm going to leave the country if Trump gets elected. Well, leave. Fucking leave. Put your money where your mouth is. Like nobody cares. Half of y'all we'd do better without.
I don't know. Those are the rich people that generally pay their taxes
I don't know about that.
a lot more than like the billionaires.
Well, I think it's just like what Trump said is that all of them use the same resources to get tax breaks that he does.
There's a like, well, there's a difference because like this man does not pay tax. It's not that he has tax breaks. Like to this point, we don't know this man pays tax.
Well,
He
if
has
you can
never
get
let
away, if you can get out of paying taxes legally, then you got to be doing something right.
something very fucking wrong.
Well, that's why I said legally.
Like even if it's legal, like okay, like it's legal. Like at that point, it would be legal if you're in a certain bracket. And like it's like okay, so poor people that have problems with their taxes, it's fuck you. But the people that have billions of dollars, oh yeah, we don't want your money. You can keep that. That's the bullshit I be talking.
Right.
But going into deeper into the V for Vendetta, we talk about like that goes into like in V for Vendetta, it was more the media was controlled by the government, yes. Whereas here, I feel the media, like various media outlets, are really like it's the government, but like not the government. It's more of the both political parties controlling various media outlets, and that's problematic because both of them speak propaganda of their own choosing. Like, let's be real, both sides have some bullshit.
And the media
But
needs to stay out, get out of like the media is supposed to report the truth, so they need to get off of their bullshit, stop lying, stop making shit up, and be a
start
fucking
calling people
journalist.
out. Yes. Like, absolutely. Like, media has, like, too often I'm hearing news people in the newsroom, mind you. Like, if they want to go to be a guest on any other show and give their thoughts, absolutely. That's their fucking right. But you're delivering the news and you're giving me your opinion on people you're supposed to be giving me an unbiased review of what the fuck's going on. Most news, I don't care which side it is, and see that's how digital we are now. I don't even considering the news channels. Which website do they have? Like there's a lot of them that they're all propaganda. Like down to like I feel like the Young Turks network was started just so the one guy can try to sit here and run for president while not being born in the United States and try to say, well, that's discriminatory and unconstitutional. And I'm like, it's written in the fucking Constitution.
Wait, you were being serious? The guy was attempting to try and run, but he wasn't born
Yes.
here?
Yes.
Well, that's just plain stupid. Like that, like you said, is very clear in the Constitution. That's also a big reason why Arnold was never allowed to run for president, even though he was governor of California.
Honestly, I would have taken Arnold over Donald. Just saying.
Yeah, uh, I yeah, Arnold's pretty cool.
Like, he's cool and he knows how to govern. He understands what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean, don't quote me on this, but I think California was better under his rule than currently, wasn't it?
I'm not 100% sure about that. I think certain areas would be better. Like, by
I'm
certain
just
metrics, yes, there were certain metrics I think were better, but it's always really subjective if you look at it.
I think I heard somewhere that they were possibly talking about forcing the California governor to resign because things are so messed up over there.
Of course, the governor, their state legislative's problem.
It is,
But,
but the
but
governor is the one in control of that.
the governor does not make laws. That is like their equivalent to Congress. Like he's not in, like they make the law, he signs it. Just like checks and balances of the states works very similar to how
No,
our
I get that, but I just hear that the state, the things that are just bad over there. Like, honestly, I see a lot of the Democrat led state cities, whatever, are not in great condition. Like, there's trash everywhere, stuff like Austin, like our capital, Austin. It's gone downhill because of that same problem. My uncle lives there, and it's not what it was.
The problem with that is you could go to any party area, like in any party, and you can find shitty places. Like, don't get me wrong,
That's true.
like there are like California, particularly from what I hear, San Francisco
Yeah,
has some problems. But
right,
again, that goes into that city's government putting certain mandates and laws into place. Like, so it's really hard to, like, again, to put all the buck there on the one person, especially since all these people elect all the officials doing all this shit.
yeah. And then the people want to leave the state because it's in such bad shape, and a lot of them end up over here, and they're repeating the same damn process. Now, not everybody, but there are those that are contributing to that are causing the same problem here that they have over there.
I think our problems really do come down to, like, it goes back to everything that everybody is like, we can't do anything in reasonable measure, and more importantly, people, even when they don't know what the fuck they're talking about or what's being talked about, they will pretend to understand and make judgments off of what's said and how it's said. Like, oh well, I just find this person more believable. Like, whatever
Right.
case, like, they're not basing it on true merit.
Yeah.
And for me, that's what a lot of willful compliance is. The whole, okay, I'm gonna sit here and make decisions without knowing what, like, not knowing all the facts that should be known about this important decision, or knowing the facts and not really fully understanding all the facts. Like, nobody wants to admit that they don't know. Can you explain that a bit more to me? Can you do, like,
Yeah.
it's kind of been a running comedy trope in our country for, like, since we've had media, really. Americans always know what's best. We always know what's right. And even when we're wrong, we don't care. We double down on those guys.
Oh, I know this is random, but my car's transmission had messed up recently. I believe I told you.
Well, I know your car's had terminal transmission problems over the last, like, year or so. Yeah.
Well, a couple weeks ago it started messing up, so I took it in. Well, I got it back Friday. Friday afternoon it messed up again, but it wasn't the transmission.
What was it?
Something to do. The code that was firing was something about the fuel injectors, but it's not the fuel injectors that was the problem. They said it was the acceleration pedal. Apparently, there's some type of assembly that's attached to it that tells the fuel injectors how much fuel to. So I went through the whole process, applied for a credit card specifically so I could get this taken care of. Ironically, it ended up costing me $2 less than what they approved me for. What's even crazier is that they told me yesterday that they could have it fixed by the end of the day. They replaced the part and it was still doing the same thing. So they told me, well, we think there's a break in a wire somewhere, so I got to wait till tomorrow to see if they figured it out. And even at that, it might cost me more money. Like, what the fuck?
It's the same place that did the transmission work.
No, because that place only does transmissions. I had to
Okay,
go to an
okay, okay.
actual mechanic shop.
Okay, okay. Damn, that's some bullshit.
Yep, I am so over this car. Like, I really wish I could just get out of it and then just do something
Well,
different. And what really bothers me is that I was on friendly terms with the manager, the used car manager that sold me the car, and not anybody told me that Nissan Rogue sucks. Nothing. It is famous for transmission problems. On top of that, apparently most Nissans in general nowadays just blow because of transmission issues or other problems. And it's like, damn it, like how how, how are y'all going to sell me a car? How are y'all going to sell me a car like that has known issues and then act like y'all didn't even know that? Like, you sell cars for a living.
Hey, no one at that car dealership watches the show, right?
I doubt it.
Okay. I don't want you getting your ass in trouble. That's why.
Well, I haven't used any names, so I should be good. Also, what's even dumber is that, like, a year later, or maybe not even a year later, but months after I got my car, she went and got her a car and got a Hyundai Santa Fe. Same fucking thing. Hyundai is not as good as they let you believe. They have engine problems because not that long after she got the car, and it did have it was still under warranty when this issue happened, the engine was burning oil. She'd get an oil change, and then by the next time, they were trying to say, "Oh, the engine's bone dry." Well, how the fuck was it still running if it was bone dry? That aside, they they did replace the engine, but it's like after the fact we find out that these cars are wrought with these issues, and like nobody could tell us that. Now, part of it is on me and on us because we didn't do the research, but at the same time, I didn't know where to get the information. On top of, I didn't know that they were going to do me wrong like that.
Like I like how y'all you own up to your part in that. Like you should have researched it.
No, definitely, I should have done some
And,
research.
and like, bro, like here's the biggest thing about like the best way to do it is start Google.
Yeah.
Like, cause like you might not find a clear cut answer right off the bat, but then you can get into like various mechanic forums and such like that. You can generally find a general consistent consensus of various views.
Well, it's funny because after I started having the transmission problems, John Henry was telling me that there's a website or whatever that you can go to and look all this shit up. And it's like, well, son of a bitch, like found out too late. But however, the good news in all of this is if I can get this check engine light taken care of, that should raise the evaluation of my vehicle. So therefore, I should be able to trade out of it soon. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. Because last time I got it checked, they gave me like a 4,000 evaluation on the car, and I still owe like 10 or 11K. And unless I go to an expensive car, I can't trade it out and just have them tack the balance onto the next one. Apparently there's a process where, like if the car is worth so many tens of thousands, that equals to how much you could transfer over like that from one trade into the other. Problem is I can't afford to pay more than what I'm already paying on monthly payments. On top of that, do you know what I hear the average payment for new car payments is? Regardless of your credit, around $1,000 a month, give or take. That is just flat out ridiculous.
Well, no, like at that point, like I would have some serious issue with that, or I'd have to call like some serious issues because like at that point, if I'm paying like 1,000 a month, like most cars now only cost like 20 to 30. Like you might get
Well,
occasional, like you get some trucks that are a bit pricey. Yeah.
dude, trucks since the pandemic, like once there was the shortage of materials that also affected PS5s, it also affected the car market. So new vehicles were in a very big shortage for a while. So that also drove the price of used cars up, which gave you more for them, but they also started charging more. Trucks, like the cheapest truck I could probably go to the dealership and see would probably be like, if I said 30 grand, that would be stretching it, because it could be 40, 50, more than that, K just to buy the truck. And that's a truck. And then you look at
Yeah.
some of the cars and they're still like 20, 30K, and it's
And
just,
you know the real fucked up thing about that is, like, even at, like, you pay more for a truck in total, and then, like, on top of that, they generally burn more gas and have shitty
Yeah,
miles.
yeah. Trucks in general do have worse gas mileage, but of course, trucks are convenient, so that's probably why they sell so well because they're very versatile in what you need. Despite the gas mileage, some trucks are better than others with gas mileage, and some are just straight out horrible.
Well, that,
Um,
and we also need to remember we live in fucking Texas.
yeah,
Like,
a lot of people
Texans
in
put
Texas have
extra,
trucks.
like, they put a special value on trucks out here.
Yeah, right.
I mean, you remember the rednecks at school? Like, there was like 10, 20 guys all had their trucks at a specific spot at school. Like,
And then a lot of them would have lift kits on them, and lift kits don't always look good on trucks, especially if
sometimes
you
they
don't have
don't.
the rims to go with it. Because sometimes they just keep the stock rims, and you jack the truck up, and the rims look small.
Everything looks small, including their dicks.
Yeah,
But yeah, like, a lot of that just comes down to how people, like, how society is. Like, I think that's some fucked up shit. Like, especially given, like, people, like you said, like, you were friendly with these people, and like they just bent you over and lemoned you.
now they gave me a good price on the car, so to speak, but I still got screwed because look what I've been dealing with. Like,
That's in the car, and then, like, how much have you dropped into the
well, I really haven't put a whole lot of money into the car aside from, okay, the transmission. I paid like
car?
almost 4 grand for that.
I rest my case.
And so another thing, interest rates are fucking crazy. That's also what gets you a lot of times on making payments is the interest rate. Now the reason I bring it up is whenever I got the transmission, I did this thing where they approved me for so much, and if I paid it back within 3 months, there was no interest. I just paid what they gave me. But if I didn't pay it off in that 3 months, the interest skyrocketed, basically meaning that each payment after the 3 months would essentially double because of the interest. Now,
Yeah,
unless you
interest
make
rates
good
do
money,
bullshit.
how the fuck is anybody gonna be able to do that? I struggled for those 3 months, and I barely paid it off in the 3 months. Like it was bad for those 3 months. Like it.
So that was you I saw down at the Placita with the wig the other a few months ago.
No, I had Nick out on the corner for me.
Oh, okay, okay. But yeah, like, it. But that's the thing. Like, a lot of people struggle, and I think the problem that our country as a whole has is we've lost our sense of community. Before, it was a community that helped individuals rise within the community. And now everybody expects the government to fucking fix everything. I'm sorry, that's not the fucking case. That's not what, like, they're supposed to make everything run, and we're supposed to fix a lot of shit ourselves. Like, that might sound fucked up. That's called living life. Like, we have to take accountability for certain aspects of our life.
Yeah,
You ain't
that's why
happy
we
with,
didn't. Oh, sorry.
yeah.
I was
Like,
gonna
a
say
lot of people.
that's.
Go ahead. Go ahead, my man.
I was going to say that's why the government is set up the way it is, because if our forefathers just wanted the government to do everything, then they wouldn't have gone through such a process to make sure that the government couldn't become tyrannical. So there are some things as a community that we're supposed to do ourselves. And also that ties into the how the credit works and interest rates work. I think that's nonsense. If I borrow money, like I understand like people have to have a way to guarantee that they get their money back, but even if you tack on interest rates, that still doesn't guarantee that you get your money back.
The guarantee to get your money back. Interest rates are to make it worth giving you the money in the first place.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. Like,
I agree with it to a degree. Like, like, okay, a couple, like, I think getting into double-digit percentages is outlandish. And more importantly, most everyday people don't get loans approved very often without substantial collateral. So you factor that with the people that generally do get loans generally have the money that they're fucking asking. Bullshit.
Right, and also a lot of the times they only offer amounts. They tend to offer amounts that are either less than what you need or far more than what you're asking for. And that's what gets you into trouble is because you're thinking, oh, well, yeah, I could do this. I don't need that whole amount. But then shit happens. You're like, oh, well, I had to use this money, and then now I find myself in a position that I can't pay it back in a timely fashion, and now I'm being hit with all this interest. Like that, that's just not right. However, I do understand there are a lot of shitty people out there, but I think a better system could be devised.
Oh well, no. Like I'm completely and totally in firm belief that interest there should be interest. Like because at that point in time, that person is going without X amount of funds. Like and financial for a financial institution where their business is money. Like okay, if this person like can just pay us back on the interest as they go, that's cool. Still, we'll break that money in.
Oh, about the interest. The reason why I say it's bullshit is because with my car payment, I pay what is it like 430 a month. 200 of that is fucking interest because
Like
my credit
100%.
my credit wasn't good enough when I got the car, so I had to have my mom sign with me, and I didn't know enough about all this shit.
But no, like certain interest rates are like for loan for if you're asking a bank for money for whatever the cost, like with the exception, like here's the thing of if I think for cars, if you can make a monthly payment to them, there shouldn't be interest. If you sit here and are like at the same time you're paying off your car and you're trying to make an agreed upon payment with the loan maker, by all means, they shouldn't like at that point you're getting your money back at a regular like because at that point the person's already paying off the fucking car note too. The loan was only to secure the down payment. Damn it, they still have to pay hundreds, if not like according to you, like $1,000 a month. Like so,
Well, it's not exactly 1,000, but it ranges from like 800 and up. Is what I hear is about the average. That's what I get when I ask the manager, hey, what's the average? Payments on new cars. It's about eight to 1,000. And then they're like, oh, well, we can get you into a better car, newer car. Yeah,
don't
what are
buy
the
a car
payments
from
going to
these
be?
people again. Don't buy another car.
No, I've already been thinking about that because I heard from one of the employees at one of the stores that they're not exactly being straight up like they should be. They're cutting corners and trying to sell vehicles as is with issues. Now, if you advertise the car and it has some issues, some people are down with that. Yeah, I'll fix it up. But if you're getting into the car and you're under the impression that everything is working and that's not, and they just put band-aids on it to make you think that is wrong.
Yeah,
I believe if a dealership is going to get a car, make sure that none of the check engine lights are on. Anything after that can fall on the customer. But do what you're supposed to do. Like you're a company with multiple store locations. You have the money to do this right. Like quit fucking people over.
see, I'm
Like
really enjoying this on a personal level, just because like I know exactly what the fuck you're talking about, like on like every level, and I just find this amusing, brother.
But
Thank you for
another
this.
another thing is that the same source is telling me that the company is like, yeah, we're making profit and this and this and that, but they're not fixing the fucking cars like they're supposed to. Like
Because that would cut
I
into the profit.
right, but that's the business though. And like with some of the new cars, like shit happens. Sometimes you get a ding or whatever, but fix it. It's a brand new vehicle. Fucking fix it. Like you shouldn't be selling that shit with with dents in it. And if you are, then discount it accordingly. Sorry about that. Mother-in-law's been having a rough day with anxiety or whatever, and wife's going to go in there and I guess spend the night in there with her and make sure she's all right.
So you're gonna be in there pretty much doing the. You're like, nah, man. You know what it is. PS is gonna be. Speaking of PS, I think we've hit these people with enough real world shit for a bit. Let's get into the realm of Sparking Zero and Diablo. Which one do you wanna like? Do you wanna talk about how we got spanked or how we do spankings?
Well, I guess we'll start with Diablo. So I've been playing Diablo some more, and I got past the slump I was having. My Necromancer is doing pretty badass now. I've found a couple more pieces of ancestral gear. I've actually started doing the masterwork, so I got all of my gear at Masterwork 6, and it's helped considerably. I did discover, as I mentioned to you earlier, that they've reworked the Uber bosses, at the very least Uber Lilith. Uh, Before the DLC dropped in that big update, for your regular player, unless you followed the meta, it was pretty hard to kill the Uber bosses. Lilith, just it was a nightmare because you had to follow a specific attack pattern or else you'd fall off the stage or you get one shot. But I discovered, I'm in Torment 2 now, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to give it a try. And you know what? Had I actually remembered the pattern, I could have soloed her ass. And couldn't have done that before. And that's because in the past I had characters with a much higher attack power than I do now. But, because of how they've balanced things, it's a little.
Yeah, I was like, keep in mind we watched numbers.
The numbers are squashed, so it's kind of the same. But at the same time, the way they revamp the difficulties, I think, has brought a better balance to things. Now, to the Dark Citadel thing, I played through all of that first with a bunch of randos, and basically I had people carry me through it because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Not that my character couldn't kill the shit, it's just I didn't know what I was doing. These people did, so they carried me through it for that sheer fact. And then I went.
You know what we were doing when we did it?
Because I didn't really remember and I didn't really understand the first time what was going on. And then when we were going through it, I guess I kind of forgot. But I guess that's part of the problem is that.
See, Broku left when you had the knowledge we needed.
Yeah, we did have a rando that probably was sufficient enough for us to do what we needed to do, but none of us at the time knew what we were supposed to do, so it was difficult. We kept dying because of the, what was it called? The impending doom.
Yeah, or just like really fucked up bullshit.
Yeah, that boss threw out a whole lot of nonsense.
Yeah, like most of the impending doom times were clearly because the boss was an asshole on bullshit. Like, was not spawning what we needed to get the job done.
Yeah, see, my character
like,
is
I don't think there's ever been a boss in any game that like just whooped our ass for like over 2 hours straight. I felt like Frieza in the Brawling movie while these assholes are learning the fusion dance. That's what happened to us, is the fucking equivalent.
Yeah, and so here, I'm sure soon, we're going to go back and we're going to whoop that boss's ass and finish the challenge. Because there's like a total of three different dungeons you got to run through.
Yeah, like, well, also, I didn't fully understand the whole equipment upgrading process going into there.
Yeah, they definitely changed a lot.
And then I didn't have all the resources to do everything I wanted, per se. Like, had I had a smidgen more resources, like 95%, like, there was 2 more things I wanted to tweak.
Yeah.
Had I been able to tweak those 2 things, I think it would have made an exponential difference.
Right. I don't know if I mentioned it I don't remember, but they changed how the pit works. It used to be the pit was to get the obdicite, or however you say it, to do the master work. They've changed it to now the pit does what the nightmare dungeon used to do, and you use the pit to upgrade your glyphs. And then you use the nightmare dungeon to get the obdicite for the masterwork. So there's no longer tier numbers for the nightmare dungeons. It's just nightmare dungeon for that tier, for that difficulty.
I can fuck with that.
And it's not bad, now that I've realized that, because yeah, I got tired of running nightmare dungeons, but at the same time, I've realized that the way they've made it now is you find a lot more of the obdicite than you did doing it through the pit, the way it was originally structured. So I like that. And also with the pit, the way the XP is given at the end once you complete it, like especially it gives you a lot of experience. Like you're able to level through the glyphs a lot faster than you used to. And
Oh
also, I
yeah,
think,
like I went like 5 levels on the first time on the time we did it, like I got like 5, 6 levels on my list.
yeah, and let's see what was I going to say.
The working of how they've pretty much increased replay value through
Yeah,
various
they have increased replay value. It's just for some things like I I didn't play the beta for Diablo 4, but I've been there since the game dropped. Shortly after the game dropped, like what was it, like a month or two after it dropped, I got it, something like that,
not
or
that long. Like I
it,
was
it might
there,
it might not have been that long.
like it was a couple of weeks because like I sat here and like I was day one. Like I played the beta and
Yeah,
I was day one. Like so,
yeah.
and
So
you weren't
I've
far
played.
behind because like you were the one I wound up playing with the most.
Yeah, yeah. So almost playing since day one, excluding the beta, going through the preseason and then each of the seasons. They've done a whole load of stuff to improve the game, and at times they've done backtracking. It's like one of those things you take 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back in some cases, and it gets frustrating. But
They are actively trying to improve the game, which is something
they're
that a lot of places generally it's like, oh, like I'll fix this. Oh, the fix is fucked up. Nah, I'm not gonna fix that. I already fixed it for you once, you son of a bitch.
Oh, Blizzard, I gotta say, you need to fix the issue of not being able to portal out of the towns. Like that is a weird ass glitch. Like I can portal into a town and then I try to portal out and it just doesn't. I have to leave the town before I can portal. Like that's weird.
It is weird. Like that irks me. Like like because I had to like I went through and I was doing all the unlock shit that I hadn't done yet, like all the purple quests and shit, and I'm like, oh, do the nightmare dungeon. Why won't you take me to the nightmare dungeon? What is this? What sorcery is keeping me in town?
Yeah.
Walk out of town, activate it, boom, no problem. But
I am
yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I am almost at the point where I am ready to go to Torment 3. I can run through pit tier 47 because 50 is unlocks tier 3, Torment 3. So it's 20, 35, 50, and then probably 60 or 70 for the final Torment level. I don't know yet.
Diablo is like Blizzard is like despite as much shit people want to talk, Blizzard is actually one of the better developers out there that listen to feedback and make actual strides. I like a lot of Blizzard's games.
Yeah, especially StarCraft. StarCraft was one of my favorites, even though the game can be quite hard.
I'm still pissed at the fallout between them and Netflix. Could have been magic.
Yeah, I mean, there's other platforms aside from Netflix, guys. Come on now.
Now, going into since we're on the topic of game developers and listening to the fans, Bandai Namco does not need to listen to the fans at every turn. Some of these people are just whiny bitches that can't play a game. They think they're good, and they're not as good as they are. Because if you're complaining about cheese, you're not fucking good. Every fighting game has Tekken. You think Tekken doesn't have one? Eddie Gordo. In the games where Eddie's not there, Christy. Like, every game has cheese character. You know what the good people do? They fucking serve them up some hands that are rated E for everyone, including the spammy little bitches. Like, really, the only thing, like, the things that, like, yeah, we might need to get a better button registration, or they need to work the timing thing out better for certain aspects and certain control reads. Aside
And
from that, the only thing I want from them is fucking staging.
yeah, and shorten animations on some things, because sometimes you just get locked in an animation for way too long and it leaves you open.
Or no, yeah, because like I agree with that one, because like I'll be throwing something and quite literally it's completely vanished at this point in time, and I'm just still standing there like an asshole. Like, hey, you don't need to worry about that anymore. Unless I can sit here and control the blast to fucking arc around and hit this motherfucker in that. Let me regain control of my character.
Yeah.
Another thing that would be a improvement, that it's not like they need to fix anything per se. It would be an optional thing. Cutscene and transformation animations. Some of that shit don't need to be as like the transformations. I don't need. I don't need. I don't need a fucking whole 5 second animation.
Or even after they transform and then they stand there for 2-3 seconds.
Yeah, like there's no need for some of this.
Like Tenkaichi 3, you hit the transform and you transformed. If your
Also,
opponent was right there on your ass, you would transform and the power, aura would knock them back, and then you could go at it. You wouldn't be stuck there for 3 seconds.
I also have a problem with the fusion. I think the fusion dance should go back to having to do button inputs.
I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. And I think the Patora should have a chance to fucking throw some interference.
Oh, give you a chance to
To knock the ring away, the
intercept.
area
Yeah,
away. Yeah.
I vaguely feel like that was an option in one of the previous games.
I'm not sure if it was, but I think that would be a nice dynamic. Like, oh, they're throwing the fucking earring to the other. Blast? Sir, no. I'm not Goku. I don't give a fuck about your transformation. I don't have to honor that bullshit.
Or be like Gohan's dumbass and fumble the earring.
See, that would be. I feel like that wasn't so embarrassing. Like, had it been Yamcha, who's like a baseball player, to like fumble, like it couldn't catch a fucking earring, that would be embarrassing. Like Gohan, like he wears glasses and shit. Like, you can't see that shit.
What's crazy is that he goes Super Saiyan and his eyes are magically fixed.
I don't know. I've never seen him read a book while he's Super Saiyan.
Well, I think they touched on that in Super. I don't know if it was the Frieza movie or what, but I think they touched on that, where Gohan has his glasses on, he goes Super Saiyan, he don't need them no more. It might have been the superhero movie that they touched on that. I can't remember, but I know somewhere they mentioned it.
It's entirely possible, but I'm gonna like I've said this week in and week out. Some of y'all just need to fucking try. Stop whining. Learn how to deal with spammy players. Get in a lobby. Tell people that what you're working on and work with them to get better. Like, if you can't figure out a way around spam, I don't think you should be playing video. Sorry. Like, because at that point, you're whining about something that somebody can do, that you know what they're gonna do, and you're just not good enough to stop. Stop shaming people because they want to use characters that seem OP, while you want to use characters that you know shouldn't be beating certain characters anyway.
Yeah, it's like I love to use Bardock. And I already understand coming up against the higher tier characters, if I'm not on my A game, I'm going to struggle, if not get my ass whooped. However, I do be whipping a lot of asses with Bardock. I do struggle against Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or any of the fusions, but if the person behind the character isn't better than me, you ain't beating me. It doesn't matter what character you use. Like I
Yamcha.
have I may guy fought me with Whis, was whipping my ass. I started to turn the match around on him, and he raged quit on me. I fought a Goku Black. I just straight up was walking over him, and he quit on me.
Everybody I fought head on.
There was one match I especially remember. It was one of the first ones that rage quit against me. He was using Kid Buu. He just kept making mistake after mistake after mistake, and it's just I had to take advantage, you know? Like, I whipped him so bad, like, he rage quit the game. Like, some of y'all just need to just take the L and just learn from your mistakes, but some of y'all just get mad and quit the match. And
Actually, the other night I came up with a merch idea that I'm going to start working on several designs for a slogan. Take the L and move on. Take the L and move on. And then, did you lose or did you learn? Which L did you take? That pretty much sums it up. Like a lot of these people sit here and like, oh well, like, well, also let me. None of them ever think, wait, let me look where I lost this, where I could have done better in this match. What I could have done better. It's always these guys cheated. They're using a cheese character. I've got no balls and shouldn't be playing fighting games to begin with.
well, on that, aside from the cheese characters, I have seen talk about certain people cheating. I don't know personally if I have encountered any of them. I could
Uh,
say I might have because there has been a couple of battles that I was in that I just absolutely could not counter anything or dodge. So that was kind of suspicious. But aside from that, I really couldn't say if anybody was cheating.
I doubt we've encountered cheating. From everything I've read about the cheating and the problems, that's been on PC. Because
Oh,
the
okay.
modder community, like they'll sit here and go into lobbies with modded characters.
Yeah, I
Like
heard
they,
the developers were cracking down on what was it, the custom battles using modded characters and stuff. They're like, if we catch you, you're banned. So if you did something with a modded character, delete it before we find it. Right. Well, at least they gave people a fair warning for those that aren't trying to be douches.
well, no, because most of these people are specifically trying to be fucking douches. There's no way around that. How are you not like? You are using a like a lot of these modded characters are characters not in the game.
Yeah, like Chi Chi.
Someone used Zeno.
Oh, I
Yeah,
hadn't heard that one.
like I just saw that one today. Like there's been a lot of bullshit going around with the computer thing, and like also like people are like, oh, we've lost 90% of our players. I think they're also using Steam for that metric as well. Like that's only 1%. Like that's one of many variables into total gamer gameplay. And also, it's just that time of the year where like it's like y'all forget that Black Ops 6 just dropped.
Yep.
We are gamers. We like the new and shiny.
Black Ops 6, the Diablo DLC,
Like there's a lot
Sparking
of other
Zero.
shit.
Like there was a lot of shit that dropped at that time and is going to drop this season. I really don't know of anything specifically that would be dropping at this point because, from what I can tell, none of the games that are coming out in the near future are, if any, interest to me.
Yeah, and to us in particular, but like to other people, there's a lot coming out.
Yeah,
And like you also gotta factor in, there's also the people that don't have any of the aforementioned games that we just mentioned that will be getting those games for like Christmas and shit. They'll be getting a lot of swoopy stuff.
right. I'm hoping Black Friday will have some good deals on something that I can make use of.
Black Friday or Cyber Monday.
Yeah. I need to figure something out with my PlayStation because I accidentally let the warranty lapse, and I mean, if I take care of it, it should last. But I'm just afraid if it does break, then I'm stuck and I'm out the money. And yeah, I suppose, like you said, I could take it somewhere to get fixed, but I don't necessarily have the funds to do that, depending on how much
So
that would even cost.
fix it yourself. Like a lot of the stuff a lot of the parts you can order solo, and like it, with YouTube, I mean, learn how to do anything. My sister-in-law took apart her PS4, replaced the disc drive, replaced the laser. Like she did, replace the fan, not the disc drive, but replace the laser in the disc drive because it wasn't reading shit. So there's way fucking bad. But yeah, they're talking about balancing the game, and I'm like, I don't see a problem with the way the game is balanced right now. I really don't. Get good
The,
images.
well, the biggest balance issue, and I think we touched on this, was the fact that they just gave us too many characters available from the start.
Well, that's not the balancing issue that they're talking about. They're talking about how certain characters are just so much stronger than other characters. That's how it goes. It's based off an anime. These people are all definitive. Like, there are certain people that are just definitively stronger than other fucking people.
Yeah, and also if you get your defensive game good, then it really
Doesn't matter.
shouldn't matter as long if you can dodge and counter. It really doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Believe me, I know. I use characters like Yamcha, Cyberman, and Mr. Satan. Do you know what I don't complain about? It happens. When like it's like Mr. Jones said in Friday, you win some, you lose some. You live to play another day, though. Get good.
But you're still a man.
Exactly. Or woman. Like,
Yeah, well, whatever applies to you.
gaming's diversified since Friday came out. Like, everybody plays video games. But
Right.
I think that about wraps up everything I have. Yeah, yeah. Anything else pop up in mind for you, brother?
You said that you were going to watch the new Daima episode after this.
Yeah.
I mean, the story seems to be cool. What I'm actually liking about it is it seems like they've kind of returned to some actual OG Dragon Ball roots, with Goku being a kid again, because he's actually fighting in a way that you can see the martial arts rather than the light speed battles that we are so used to seeing in Z, Super, GT, any of the movies, etc. And it's actually pretty cool. And there's a particular moment in the new episode. I touched briefly with it on you. I don't want to spoil too much for those that haven't seen it, but it's pretty cool. I mean, Super Saiyan needs to be put back in a place to where it's not just, oh, well, I'm going to go straight to it, type of thing. It just, it needs to be handled slightly different to where Super Saiyan can be viewed as being useful rather than obsolete. And also, we need to consider that this is directly after Buu Saga, so there's that.
Honestly, I'm gonna wait for the whole Daima finish to like fully throw judgment because you know how I feel about shit just happening out of convenience or because
Yeah,
people want it,
it does.
and it seems like we're gonna get a new fusion,
Yeah.
and
I
that
don't
part
know
hurts.
if this is correct, but it seems like somebody was implying it might be Vegeta and Piccolo. Don't quote me on it. I can't guarantee that, but
I
they're.
read somewhere that it was gonna be like a three-way fusion.
Oh, shit.
Like so, like no, like. But the point is, they're doing a fucking other fusion, and like it's gonna like this point to like I think that's also why we're waiting like it's all waiting on like there like if you haven't noticed in the whole character customization there's the fusion tab on every character. Like I wonder if the reason for that is because Diama is gonna pull some weird shit.
Well, there was it Budokai or was it the early Tenkaichis to where um, you could, like with Boo or Cell, uh, you could like do the other like what if transformations.
Yeah,
Like I think there was
there
one
was a
where
couple where we
Cell
had the what
absorbed
if.
Yamcha or Krillin or something like that instead of 18.
So he became more useless.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Yamcha and Krillin. Y'all know I got love for y'all.
There was also with Boo, you could do the one where he absorbed Frieza, or can't remember any of the other ones, but I know there was the one where you saw him absorb Frieza. That might have been Budokai 3.
I can't remember the exact number, but like someone actually shared something in a group that pointed out that the game, like the Dragon Ball Z games, were never meant to be balanced. They were never balanced to begin with.
Right.
Like people need to stop being whiny bitches. Enjoy the game for what it is. Um, get good or stop complaining. At the very least, I'm tired of hearing you fucking whine.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure for a lot of us, if they can fix the button input issue, I think that would solve a lot of the problems that some of us are having. Now, that doesn't necessarily address the issue for those that just need to get good.
So I guess the lesson of the day for y'all is take the L and move on, y'all. That said, I, I'm good. T, you good now? Got the thing off your chest?
Believe so.
All right then. Well, love, peace, and chicken grease, motherfuckers. FANSPIRACY, we love you. We appreciate each and every one of y'all that check in on.
Absolutely, indeed. Thanks for tuning in.
Peace, y'all.